Thank you for tuning in to Mr. Cliff's Toy Shop. On today's review, we take a look at the Mezco DC Two-Face. Today I'll be reviewing this figure in the following categories: accessories, articulation, design, is it essential to your collection, functionality, and price. Once all scores are totaled, I'll give you my opinion if this figure is a pass or a purchase. So for accessories, it was nearly too much stuff to take out of the box. And if it's this many accessories, I already know the functionality portion of this video is going to be super long, so I'm going to push through to attempt to make this very quick. So starting at the very top, you get a base and stand. Two-Face actually comes with 3 heads in total. I won't spend a lot of time talking about these heads here. I'll do that in the design portion of the video. Just want to give you a quick view of each of those head sculpts. Focus, camera, focus. You get this case that comes with some sort of explosive device inside of it. You receive 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 hands in total. And I really like how these gloves on the hands are done with the coin embedded. Fantastic. Thank you, Mezco. You receive 4 flipping coin effects. Such a cool piece right here. I really like these things. You receive 4 small coins. I've already lost 2 of them. Probably can't see me holding that. And moving on to the weapons. So you receive this, I don't want to call it a rocket launcher, but it does fire some sort of missile. It comes with this effect piece, which is done very well. I really like this. You get a handgun that has a removable clip. It also comes with an additional clip. You have, I don't know what this weapon is, but you have this that also has 2 clips that you can remove and 2 additional clips. And you get 4 switchblades. In addition to that, you receive the nozzle firing effect pieces. There are 4 that are in total. No matter how many of these we get, I always like them. The bullet here is bent, nothing that some hot water or heat can't straighten up. Almost forgot, you receive bandages that go around Two-Face face. I'll show you those later. So for accessories, what more can you want? I'll be giving Two-Face a 10 out of 10. So for articulation, my guess is that this is on the Joker body. I really hope not. So the head is only able to look up that far, mainly because the head and neck is one solid piece. The arm itself is able to extend up about that much, which is pretty good for a cloth figure. So with this, I'm pretty sure you can get it to maneuver all the way around if you choose to. I will not. There is no upper bicep cut. Point of rotation is at the elbow. The wrists are on the ball peg, so you can get them to go side to side, up and down. So for the torso, you have a floating A and B portion, just to extend the, oops, almost forgot. The arms, I think, are double jointed, bending in about this far. So with the torso, you do get this amount of rotation. It does barely move back. It goes forward a little bit, does pivot a good amount. Using the combination of the 2, it's able to go back much further, lean forward that much, and great amount of rotation as well as pivot. So for the legs, you're able to extend them out that far, which is not bad. I can barely put my legs out that far with my work pants. The leg is able to go forward about that much, backwards about that much. You do have upper rotation. The next point of rotation is all the way at the foot, which does turn left and right. The knees are double jointed, bending all the way in. So for the foot itself, it does go down that much, forward that much. You do have a good amount of rotation in as well as out. And jumping back up top, there is no butterfly joint. You also have rotation at the waist. So for a character that's in a suit, a tie, and a button-down shirt, he moves exceptionally well. Not sure if this is the Joker body, maybe some pieces of it. So for overall articulation, I'll be giving Two-Face an 8 out of 10. So for design, let's take a quick look at the suit itself. And I think the suit is well fitting. The jacket, as well as the pants, very clean with the lines and splits. You can see some sew work, which I'm not crazy about right here. The shirt looks good, looks just as good as one of my shirts, and the tie also looks very well. Again, you can see that stitch work here, but being that it's black, it's not that prominent, and being that the jacket will cover it most of the time unless you choose to remove yours, it's not that prominent. You also get a handkerchief, which I don't know if it's removable, but it's definitely a separate piece, as I can push that down, and I will not be seeing if it's a removable. I just don't want to deal with that. The tie appears to be a separate piece as well. It is. I am definitely not removing that if you can. And what I really like is the belt is also a separate piece. The shoes also look good. If you can see, I'm just going to zoom in for a moment. Two Face is sporting some Oxford shoes, and they look just as good as some of the ones that I own. You can see the small texturing and line work. You can see the laces. Really phenomenal job done on these shoes. Moving up a bit, take a look at the gloves. I really like the look of the gloves. Wasn't even on camera. Yeah, this just doesn't look like paint on fist. It really sort of looks like he's wearing gloves. And now let's jump up to the head. So this head sculpt, let's lift this just a little bit. It doesn't remind me of any Two-Face that I've seen before. I'm unsure of where Mezco took their interpretations from. I would love if they were to do that, to say, hey, we looked at this comic and decided to make this character, sort of how McFarlane does. But I like this more realistic look to Two-Face. It's less comic and cartoon and more movie-based, but it really looks good. And the only thing that hurts these three head sculpts, and I'll show the other two, is the paint. I think if you really find a good face painter, that these will come out phenomenal. So jumping to this head for a moment, the Harvey Dent sculpt, you can see that looks good. Just giving you an idea of what they look like side by side, turning them that way and again to this side. And what I really like is the expressions. If you look on his forehead, you can see some line work. I hope that's coming through on camera, but it's definitely there. I wish some other companies, such as Storm Collectible, would get a lot better of making sure the expressions carry throughout. And looking at the third head sculpt is more of a maniacal expression. I just really like this, and I'm telling you, if you're a pretty good painter, you can really bring these sculpts out, because the sculpt is here. It's not lacking paint. Just having more of a realistic foundation to some of the skin tone would really bring this out. So for design, if you're looking for something more comic and Batman animated series inspired, this is really not it. But if you're looking for a cool Two-Face that has more of a realistic look, I think this is a good looking figure. So for overall design, I'm going to give Two-Face a 7 out of 10. So is Two-Face essential to your collection? Batman has such a rolling gallery of villains, it's hard to say which one, or which ones rather, are more prominent and which ones are sort of B or C. I think Two-Face is essential to your collection. Batman has such a rolling gallery of villains. Where do you start? I'm pretty sure everyone would put Joker as a tier 1 character, but underneath Joker, who's the next villain? Is it Two-Face? Is it the Riddler? Is it Mr. Freeze? Is it Bane? The answer to that question is I don't know. I'm pretty sure I could do more research. I could have done more research to see how many comics Two-Face appeared in versus the rest of them, but I didn't. So I have to give Two-Face a score that I feel comfortable with. So as far as being essential to your collection, I'm going to give Two-Face an 8 out of 10. So for functionality, we're going to be here for a while. So with some of my Storm Collectible videos, some people say, why don't you read the directions? It is simple, because my Storm Collectible figures did not come with instructions, to where this Mezco figure does, and I'm very happy it does. So we're going to start with this. So there are 2 clips on the side that you unfasten, which gives way to this. You can turn this upside down to remove it out of its casing. Once you do so, you can separate the back piece. I don't have it all the way connected, but you just pull and it comes off like so. The challenge are getting these 2 small batteries in, as my hands and fingers are much larger than these smaller batteries. So I've already managed to get them in the wrong way. I'm assuming it was the wrong way because the instructions appear to have the batteries face the opposite way. As you can see, I'm even having a hard time gripping them. They're so small. And initially I was placing the batteries here. I don't know why I thought that was the correct place. Instead, the batteries slide in these 2 compartments, one here and one here. This is way too difficult for me to do on camera, so I'm going to go off camera and attempt to get this done. So if you take a quick look, this is how the battery is supposed to go. I originally had it this way, but it felt as if the brackets were resisting the battery, so I assumed that it was the other way, and it actually slid in easier the other way, but it did not light up. So I'm assuming that this is the correct way. Okay, now that I have that installed, let's see if the light up function works. It is this button right here in the middle. Okay, so it's actually working. I'm going to turn my lights down. Maybe that will help to see it a bit better. Does that work? Okay. All right, so I went ahead and placed it back in its display. This way you can see it. The light up functions are working and this thing looks fantastic. It was much easier to do the second go round as now I knew which way the batteries went. And I just, man, this thing here is so dope. Such a dope accessory. And you just push this button again, which turns it off. Now, what I would have preferred here, as I'm not a fan of installing batteries, one, I would have liked if the batteries would have already came installed, but I know some collectors typically don't care for that. They worry about corrosion. The other thing that Mezco could have done was to add a USB port somewhere along this case. That way you can charge it and you don't have to worry about installing the batteries. All right, so starting with this weapon, the two clips are removable, which is a cool feature. And also we get a series of muzzles. I'll just show this one, and I'm still not tired of this. This is just fantastic. So what I can tell, Two-Face comes with 3 weapon holding hands. So we're going to use this one. No, we're going to use this one. Not the best grip on the, let's see. This one seems a lot small. I'm thinking maybe the knives are for that one, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay, much snugger fit. Moving on to the next weapon, and I'm going to try to speed this up as this is going to be a long section of the video. So this clip is also removable. You can see the bullet up inside. I'm going to go with the same hand. I'm just going to wedge that. And as you can see, that works as well. I'll use one of the other nozzle effects. And then we have the bazooka type of weapon. For this, I'm going to attempt to use the other hand. And that fits. So for this one, it actually comes with a missile and smoke, which you can port in one of the 2 holes. We'll go with the top one. And take a look at that. Man, I really love how Mezco has incorporated these features with their weapons. Fantastic. All right, so let's remove this hand. I want to see if the switchblade could actually fit in this hand. If you put it on an angle, you can, but it is loose. I actually don't think any of these hands are going to hold it properly. This one seems a bit too big. Again, you'll have to sort of lean it forward for it to work, but it is super loose. And the other hand is too big. So I just went through all of the hands, and on the package, it shows that the purple hands are actually holding the blade. So it has to be either that gripping hand or this one, and neither one holds it particularly well. The black hand actually holds it the best, as it's a bit tighter than the other hands. And now for one of the final effect pieces, which is so small, but has to maybe be my favorite accessory. And that's Two-Face actually flipping the coin. I love this piece. And you come with a hand to where you plug that in like so, and it gives the flick. This, oh my, this is so dope. That's all I can say. Wait, we have one more accessory to use, and this is his bandages. So I guess it's more fitting to put it on this head here. Not sure how this actually goes, so I'm going to play around, see if I can get it right. So you receive 2 of these bandages, and they are very long. So I'm going to fast forward this a little bit. All right, so all I did was just wrap this around his head. Now, I wish that this was sort of self-sticking, but it's not. So what you're going to have to do, either you're going to have to tie these 2 ends or you're going to have to tuck it under. So a cool accessory. I think it would have been or looked a lot better if he would have came with a bandage head sculpt, something that was already done. So I'm going to go through this pretty quickly just to show the hands that he comes with. So this is an odd hand, decided to show this, and I love that they included hands that have the coin on them. I say this time and time again, Mezco knows how to do accessories properly. So in the briefcase, I put one of the hands. Let's see how he holds that. I'm gonna go off camera. There you go, and as you can see, Two-Face stands the stand test. Okay, we're already pretty long into the functionality of the part, so let's wrap this up. All right, so starting with the head. So the head and the neck are one separate piece. The issue with that is you get a lack of mobility and range, so the head barely looks up at any. It does, however, bend down. The clothes on this figure, though a full suit, shirt, tie, Two-Face can move relatively well. There's definitely a floating piece here, and you get a good range of movement, which is good. The legs kick out, not that much, but Two-Face is not a character to where it really needs to go beyond that, and they kick up pretty high. So I'm happy with the double jointed knees. I thought that this was the Joker body. I mean, it may not be the case. The elbows seem to be double jointed, or it could be single, just bending past 90, which is pretty good. So in the functionality department, most of the things are hitting. This could easily have been a 10. However, I do have to remove a point for this singular neck and head joint as it just limits range. I will, however, be adding a point to the briefcase just for something so small that just have so many components and mechanism as part of it, and to think that it has a light up feature. So I'm going to be adding a point for that. So I will be deducting a point for Two-Face not being able to hold his switchblade correctly. However, I will be adding a point for all of the hands that have coin flipping gestures already embedded on those hands. Imagine trying to get one of these singular coins to sit on his hand properly. Instead, Mezco removed the headache in that and actually placed them on the hands. So I should add 2 points for that. So for functionality, while this thing is not perfect, there are some subtle, small issues. But given what we're getting, and I know I'm going to take some hits for this, I'm going to give Two-Face 9 out of 10 for functionality. So for pricing, Two-Face comes in at $95. That's before taxes. That's before shipping. I was able to find mine for free shipping. You add in taxes, about $105. And that's if you were able to pre-order him or find him thereafter. I was not smart enough to pre-order mine, but I managed to find him a little bit later for retail price. So now is Two-Face worth the price of admission? Well, let's take a look at what he comes with, and he comes with an awful lot. The accessories is the strongest part of the figure, is no doubt of that. But of course, that is in conjunction with the figures. Accessories by themselves essentially won't sell itself at that price point, but man, does he come loaded. In addition to all the fantastic accessories that Two-Face comes with, you do get 3 different head sculpts. I have to find me a separate body, not two-tone like this, but maybe the John Wick figure, as I really want to display my Harvey Dent head sculpt as well. For a figure that is in a suit from head to toe, he moves very well. I was expecting to have way more limitations than we receive. The body itself, I think, is a bit antiquated, especially with the arms. However, given the attire that he's wearing, it really does not hurt this figure. The one thing for me that's kind of missing, I wish that we would have gotten more of a cartoon type of face sculpt, especially being that they included 3, and when I say cartoon base, I mean that side of his face being either green or purple with half of his hair being white. Chances are that we will get another Two-Face, and maybe that one will be comic based. We do see a few accessories that we received before, such as this case that came with the Batman and Black Mask 2-pack, which I believe was a New York Comic Con exclusive. But now to be able to get that for $95 combined, I am very happy. So for overall pricing for this figure, I'm going to give Two-Face a 10 out of 10. So now is this figure a pass or a purchase? So when it comes to Mezco in particular, we have so many versions of Batman, way too many repaints, too many. And we don't have enough villains. So to be able to add an iconic villain to this lineup, it's a huge plus. If you decide to jump into some other DC lines such as McFarlane or other companies that make them, at the moment they don't have a Two-Face as well. So right now, this is really one of the only modern figures that you're getting of Two-Face. I think if you want to find a Two-Face character, you may have to go back to DC Universe Classics. So for me, this figure is an absolute purchase. Okay, let's do a few comparisons. So here's Two-Face by itself. Let's throw in Harvey Dent. Oops. None of these figures seem to want to stand, so we're going to do this. All right, not bad. So This is the John Wick body, just in case anybody's wondering. And it appears that the suits, with the exception of the colors, may be the same. Let's throw in Mezco's Dark Side. Let's move Harvey, and let's put in Marvel Legends Thanos. Let's remove Dark Side and put in Super 7's Leo. And for the last comparison, let's move Thanos. Let's fix Two-Face and sit him next to Tactical Suit Batman. So I want to thank you for tuning in to Mr. Cliff's Toy Shop. I hope to see you during the next review.